Hello, everyone. My name is Stephanie Thompson, and today I'll be sharing with you the first module of School Law EDL 850, and we're going to talk about the three levels of government control for public education. A little bit about myself. I grew up in Pratt, Kansas. I attended the same schools that my children currently do. I teach in the same building that I went to middle school in. I have four brothers. I have one amazing husband who also teaches in my building or in the building that I work into. We have a little boy that's 9 and a little girl that's 6. I played college basketball for 4 years at Cali County, and then I transferred after 2 years at Cali, majoring in education. I transferred to Pittsburgh State University and finished my education degree, and I was one of the lucky ones that finished her teaching degree, so I can still teach anything K through 9, which I'm learning is kind of awesome. I was a college basketball coach for 9 years before I came back to public education in 2016. I have my master's degree in sports administration, so I'm just working on my endorsement in building level leadership, and I will be done with that endorsement in May of this upcoming year. My family hobbies, we love anything outdoors: camping, fishing, hunting, walking, running, gardening. I try to garden. I'm not very good at it. We love fire pits. We just love being outside. We also love all things sports. So if we're not at one of our kids' sporting events, we like to support the Chiefs and the Jayhawks, the Royals. My husband played baseball at KU, so we're definitely big KU fans. We chase our children everywhere to events, and we love spending time with our school family and our kids' friends' families as well. This is a recent picture of my family. My little girl was the homecoming attendant at fall homecoming, so that was a super fun thing that we just finished with a couple weeks ago. Information about my career. I started my career in 2004 teaching after college graduation, and I was teaching K through 8 language arts in Mullinville, Kansas. I was driving back and forth from Pratt to Mullinville, which I now realize was kind of crazy as a first year teacher. I didn't realize it then. I started coaching college basketball in 2008 to 2016, and I was also the assistant athletic director, which is when I obtained my master's degree. I worked on it from 2011 to 2013, and then when I had our second child, I transitioned back to public education, and our current superintendent was my principal at the time, and he had high hopes that I was going to be really good at history teacher, and I was scared to death, but I loved it. I learned a lot, and I actually kind of miss it. He wanted me to get back into the sports realm of things, so I am now the PE teacher and health for a whole array of kids, but 5 through 8 each day is who I get the opportunity to teach. I'm passionate about teaching resilience. I love learning as much as I can about trauma-informed education. I love all the stuff and all the research and everything that involves social emotional learning and teaching, and it's just something that I just can't get enough of. And this is a picture of my building that we work in, my husband and I work in. Okay, so the first government that I wanted to talk about is federal government, and I'll just go federal, state to local government and what kind of support they provide for public education. I had 5 key points that I took from their readings that were presented to us. The federal government first ensures that no student is denied the right to equal education opportunities based on race, ethnicity, gender, disability, or other protected status. The other thing that they do for us is provide compensatory funding to facilitate access to educational opportunity for high need students, included but not limited to students living in poverty and students with disabilities. They support educational research and develop and gather information about the scope and quality of the nation's education system to inform policy and practice at the state and local levels. They develop and support and promote continuous improvement for state and local educational systems, and they promote student achievement and preparation for global competitiveness by fostering educational excellence and ensuring equal access. So they basically, the federal government just makes sure that we're treating everybody equally, that everybody's getting the same opportunities, and they're making sure that globally we are doing what's necessary to compete on a global scale from an education standpoint. Do a lot of research, they develop things, but that's basically it. State governments often choose to delegate much of their authority to local school districts, but they can reclaim their authority pretty much whenever they want. So they leave it up to the local governments to make some decisions, but every once in a while, state laws and education bills are passed to, I would hope, help everybody. State departments of education choose to establish additional education standards for subjects. So our teaching standards for each different content area come from the state departments. And state and level funding for government schools varies widely, but on average, states provide less than half of the school's operating costs. And then lastly, the local government. Like I said a little bit ago, state governments actually delegate most of the accountability and operation of how we do things to the local schools. Each school district is governed by a school board whose members are either elected by the public or appointed. Ours are elected, obviously. Local dollars is where we get most of our funding, and in Pratt, we have extremely high property taxes here in Pratt. Last time I looked, I think we were, I don't know, second or third, maybe fourth in the state on property taxes. So that's where a large majority of our funding comes from here within our district. A little less than half of school funding is provided at the local level. So who's in charge at the federal level? Miguel Cardona, and his duties and responsibilities. He's supposed to establish policy for administrators and coordinate most federal assistance to education. He collects data on United States schools, and he enforces federal education laws regarding privacy and civil rights. It is a cabinet level position, and there are 15 additional cabinet members that make up the United States Department of Education, and it is obviously a very well paid position. I think that's good. Who's in charge at the state level? This picture here is Laura Kelly, who is our governor of Kansas, who participates in helping our schools make decisions and laws and getting things through. Here is the almighty Randy Watson, an amazing person for Kansas schools. He's our commissioner of education, and I've obviously had the opportunity to hear him speak many times, and he's so passionate about Kansas and Kansas kids and our schools, and I just really appreciate that about him. His duties and responsibility provide educational standards, like I said earlier, provide less than half of the school funding, and provide accountability for states or for schools statewide. Both of the positions are paid. They're paid for their time and also their travel. Who's in charge at the local level? And I found this fun picture of our school board president, Mr. Bill Bergner. Jim's his brother. Anyways, Bill Bergner and our very popular superintendent, Mr. Tony Helfrich. Like I mentioned earlier, he was my principal when I came back to public ed, and he's just done a great job of leading us through the pandemic. So their duties are to approve school policies, hire teachers and staff, and make most of the decisions on how our schools are ran, and kind of just everything that goes on is up to our school board and Mr. Helfrich, and obviously we get a lot of buy-in from teachers as well. Our superintendent is a paid position, but our school board members, as many of yours, are voted on and volunteer. Local governments, in my opinion, have the most control over school operations. What three levels compared to our standards have kind of the most control, most power? I had to think on number 2 a little bit, but I thought the other ones were pretty simple. Who basically develops, evaluates, and implements management, communication, technology, school governance, and operational systems that support each student's learning needs and promote the mission and vision of the school? I think absolutely local level. All those things come from tech directors and school board members and administrators and the school board, and just everybody that gets to have input into the processes here in Pratt. Who develops and advocates for data-informed, equitable resourcing plans? I think that's definitely at the state level. And then component 3, who reflectively evaluates, communicates about, and implements laws, rights, policies, and regulations to promote student and adult success and well-being. And I guess this is the one where I kind of thought about it a little bit. I guess the state level, but I felt like that one was also a lot of local control as well. So maybe a little mixture on component 3 of state and local. This module, as far as how it relates to the standards, the module gave me an additional insight on how each level of government affects our schools each day. Strong support locally for our schools is so important since much of our funding comes from local entities. It was extremely relevant. I hope this class can teach me as much as possible about school law. The importance of positive relationships with administrators as well as school board members is essential in building a school culture where we can promote the success and well-being of students and staff. And in reflection of the module, I gained a lot of information on how little the federal government does for public education and public schools. But keeping a watchful eye on laws that are passed at the state level will keep me informed as to how it will impact our schools locally. Being informed about laws will help me be a better administrator. I look forward to getting a little bit deeper into school law, and I look forward to watching your guys' presentations and just learning about school law along with each of you. Take care and happy Sunday. I hope you guys all have a wonderful week. Take care.